How's it going, YouTube? I'm the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Lord, and today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my mekk-knight Invoked deck. And ignore the mat in the background. Hopefully my mat will be coming in soon, and I'll show those off once I get those. I'm really excited to see them. I'm interested to see how they turned out. I'm hoping that they turned out as good as they look whenever I made the image. Just gonna have to see how that's gonna go. I've got an order in with Inked Gaming. So far, I'm only ordering 2 mats. It's one for me, one for my friends. Comment down below if you'd be interested in getting one of those. Before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like button and also subscribe. It really helps out a lot. I'm really hoping that the channel is able to pick up and take off. I don't expect it to be just a really fast growth, but I'm just hoping to see some growth. Alright, so let's jump straight into it. You're going to run 3 Alistair. Obviously, it's the only main decked Invoke monster that there is at the moment. He has a quick effect. You can send him from your hand, target a fusion monster. It gains 1,000 attack and defense. It comes up every now and then that you want to do this, just whenever you want to try to push for game. The main reason why you want to get him is for his normal summon effect. And it's while he's normal or flipped summon. So even if your opponent manages to like book a moon you or whatever and can't hit over it, which I don't know why they wouldn't, but if they can't hit over it, you can flip it back up on the next turn and its effect would still trigger. It doesn't trigger whenever it's special summon, unfortunately. So that's kind of the bad part. But anyway, whenever it's normal or flipped, you get to add 1 invocation from your deck to your hand. So that's it for him. We get into our mekk-knight main deck monsters. Run 3 purple. Obviously, one of the best ones. He allows you to get into all your mekk-knights that you actually want to see, which he also recurs himself back after you banish him to search a mekk-knight. 3 blue. He searches any mekk-knights up to the number of monsters in your opponent's column that he's summoned into, and that includes the spell and trap zone. So basically, if you summon him to one of the extra deck zones and they have an extra deck monster, a main deck monster, and a spell or trap, you get to search for 3. We don't really run a whole lot of mekk-knights. I think we only run like 9. So you got him. 1 red. Very situational. Still comes up though occasionally, so I still want to see it. 1 yellow. Still also comes up. Sometimes it can force out the imperm if they have it in that zone. 1 move man. Also, Indigo Eclipse is another name for him. Well, it's his actual name. This card, I want to bump it up to 2. If I did, I would take out probably either the yellow or the red, one of them. But the only reason why I would bump it up to 2 is that way I can actually move him around, because we do play the spells and traps in this version that negate things in the same column as a mekk-knight, so that would give you 2 moves per turn just to allow you to kind of broaden out your board. The 1 extender, Pankratops, it's just a free special summon. This deck is a blind go second deck, so you always want to just play going second into whatever. That being said, we do run some hand traps. 3 ash, 2 droll, and 3 imperm. Basically, imperm, standard, droll. The only reason why I didn't want to run 3 droll is because I found in testing that it wasn't as good. Just some decks could just, with 2 draws, build their whatever that they wanted to. 3 meltdown. I thought about cutting this down to 2. It's not as reliable. I would cut it down to 2 to add the 3rd droll if I had to. Or I could cut it down to 2 and add the 1 indigo. So, just food for thought. It allows you to get your Alistairs faster. And then The activation of cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summons a fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated when a monster is fusion summoned this way. So basically what that means is whenever I fusion summon, my opponent cannot chain Solemn Strike or Judgment to my monster being summoned, as long as this is already on the field. I know there was a ruling a while back where it was a wrong ruling, but still, it was at a YCS. The judge ruled that if you were in a Shadal mirror match and if you had Magical Meltdown out on the field and your opponent used Shadal Fusion to go into their monster, the Shadal monsters that hit the grave wouldn't activate. That's not true. It's only the fusion summon of your monsters that your opponent cannot activate cards or effects to. 2 Invocation. I still see it very frequently, even though it's only at 2. I don't want to run more than 3 because then I run the risk of drawing into 2 in one hand, and then it's just not that good because you can only use the effect of it once per turn. 2 Memory. You want to kind of turbo out your mekk-knights. Really helps if you draw into especially a spell and trap heavy hand. And also you can set it to summon your mechs. 1 key. That I don't want to really see more than 1 of this. It's not very useful if you can't trigger off the first effect, which is targeting one of your banished mekk-knights and adding it back to your hand. It's just not that good. Other than that, it negates traps. Eldritch is so heavy this format that I still want to be able to have it in the deck. And at any point in time, I could also search it out, so it's not that big of a deal. 3 Super Poly. We want to be able to get rid of any of our opponent's big boss monsters that we're not able to just beat over. It's especially useful if they've got Dragoon out. We have other stuff to be able to stop the Dragoon. But, yeah, we got this in here just to kind of get rid of it. 1 Pot of Avarice, just to kind of recycle back some of our extra deck stuff and our Alistairs and things like that. 1 Monster Reborn. Standard, special summon back, whatever. If we manage to get Dragoon and Grave, have this in hand, activate this, get Dragoon to our side of the field. 1 Call By. It's only at 1. If it was at 3, I'd run it at 3, but right now it's only at 1, so just run what we got. 3 World Legacy Seeker. I've seen a lot of people only want to play 1 or 2 of this. I don't think that this is correct. Simply because if my opponent, like, Ghost Ogres my move man or whatever, the following turn I can just bring them back and start making sure that all their monsters are negated. So basically, I want to see this in my opening hand. I want to at least see 1 copy of it. So, and then the 2 Whispers. These negate spells. So basically, I want to be able to negate monsters and spells. Those are my 2 top priorities. This makes one of my level 5 or highers gain 1,000. So, that's the reason why I'm going to run that. That's the end of the main deck. The extra deck, you want to run the 1 Almirage and the 1 Gardener to complement it. Just basically, it's an easy way to tutor your Alistair off the field and still be able to get to a fire. And access code, pretty standard. Mask to make our access. Basically just makes it where it can't be destroyed by card effects. So it's just that much better. The 1 Invoker of Madness, I don't really need more. I don't go into it a whole lot. It's, in my opinion, it's okay at best. 1 mekk-knight of the Morningstar. I don't really need more than 1. Usually if I'm summoning this, I'm pretty much going to end up with game anyway. 1 Spectrum Supreme, yet again. If I'm going into this, it's already pretty much game over. This does kind of lock me a little bit because it makes it to where I don't want anything in the 3 columns up under it or in the column in front or behind it. So it's kind of just very situational. Then we get into the invoked part of the deck. Double Raijin, just Book of Moon, whatever, is giving us issues. Double mekk-knight. I don't really... He's okay, especially right now during this format, but most of the time they can already push through multiple interruptions anyway. So he's just okay. Not the best. And then I'll run double Purgatrio. Just, if I'm really trying to push for game, he's really what I want to go into. Because it's a blowout card. Being able to attack everything and basically just making sure your opponent can't hide from it by just putting all their stuff in defense just makes it really good to me. World Chalice Guard Dragon Armaduke, for basically Dragon Link and things like that want to put up multiple Link monsters on the field. I can just Super Poly and link them away for this. And it gets rid of 3 of them, not just 2. And then Dragos Tapelia for whenever my opponent does the whole Verte Anaconda shenanigans where they go into Dragoon, I can just make this and just Super Poly both of them away and get rid of both problems. And then I can also target an additional monster and it becomes level 1 and it also negates its effects. So it makes it really good in that instance. Now we're going to get into the side deck. It's kind of a mixture between going first and second. You just kind of toss up to see what's giving you issues and what's not. 3 Dart Ruler no more. For whenever they make you go second again, they're playing a combo deck and they have Dragoon. You could just drop Dart Ruler no more, and then Dragoon's not going to be a problem. The third roll for if you need to side it in, if they're playing a heavy combo deck, you can just side it in there and stop it. Yet again, Nibiru, combo heavy deck. Pretty much most decks typically can't play through it. There's a few that can. Double Twisters. This is one of my going first techs. Usually if you're playing stuff like Eldritch or Phantom Knights, they're going to want you to go first. Or typically, if they figured out that you're going second deck and they can't go first, they're going to want you to go first. So you side this to be able to pop their Fog Blades or just their Sanguines or whatever on the turn that it's set. That way it's not even going to be an issue later. Double Lancia, yet again, stops Phantom Knights. It stops almost anything in the meta right now. There's a lot of different decks that like to vanish. Double Silent Graveyard. This is something I haven't really seen people play a lot of. It's an okay card in this deck. Basically because we don't really care about the stuff that activates in the grave. Most of our stuff has things that interact with it in the grave. So it doesn't bother us as much as a deck like Phantom Knights would or like Dragon Link would. But I run that just for that. And then this is slow, but it's if they make us go first against like Eldritch. Royal Decree. It just negates all other traps on the field. That's really all it's for. But if I can search out the yellow off of memory, pop Royal Decree, and then just keep on about my plays. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Any comments on any kind of deck changes, I'm always open to creative feedback. If you're just going down there and you're not willing to have a conversation or have a debate with me, then I really just don't even bother, because I don't want to talk to people that aren't willing to at least hear me out and hear my responses. I don't want to talk to people who are so close-minded that just, this is what's right, this is how it's supposed to be. But anyway, happy Wednesday. I hope you all have a beautiful day.